never begged for permission to be free. Addis Ababa. Just moments before Ibrahim Traoré was set to step on stage, a service door hung half open. A steel trolley slid out, leaving wet streaks across polished tile. Two men in catering whites weren't on any schedule. Their path intersected with the narrow hall connecting the waiting room to the podium. That short stretch, just a few steps, was a kill zone. If you wanted to silence a leader before his first word, this was the plan. Not rumor, not fiction. Assassination. Close, quiet, fast. Suppressed rifles, encrypted radios, and a 4-second camera blind spot inked in red on a folded pocket map. The strike was timed for the moment the lights dimmed before the anthem, when every head would turn toward the flags. Inside the hall, a packed crowd buzzed. Microphones were live, countdown rolling. In the corridor, a gloved hand tightened, waiting for a single word over radio. If they acted now, an entire continent would lose its voice before it even spoke. If they hesitated, the window would slam shut. That was the razor-thin line the night balanced on. Not theater, not theory. Seconds that could reshape Burkina Faso and ripple across every African headline. Stay with this. Because in the next minutes, you'll see how they got that close, who cleared their path, and what they were desperate to stop Traoré from saying. Subscribe if you want the truth, stripped of spin. 10 minutes before the speech, high on the mezzanine, a Burkina Faso captain studied a tablet screen. He didn't wait for perfection. He waited for patterns. And there it was. The trolley appeared twice from angles that did not match the catering sheet. That was enough. "Hold green," he said into a secure radio. Eyes on the trolley. Two plainclothes Ethiopian federal officers slipped away from a flower display, drifting toward the service door. A third, older agent stepped calmly into the corridor and let the trolley scrape his shoe. He apologized, smiled, and looked down. The steel lids weren't flush. The men in whites didn't blink. Gloves, tight jaws. A single word over the channel. Now. The house light test came early, bright, blinding white where shadow should have been. In that glare, a shoulder pinned a wrist. A tray slid, a rifle barrel kissed tile. No shots, no screams. Radios in the bottom tray spat a burst of code, then went dead in foil, contained. The older agent stayed steady. The two men were walked to a service alcove, linen carts forming walls. Zip ties clicked. A second team moved in with evidence bags and chain of custody forms, rifles, radios, a red square notebook margin. In one corner, just one word, anthem. Above, the countdown held steady. In the holding room, a staffer tested the microphone. 2 minutes, Mr. President. The captain checked the blank camera square one more time, then glanced at the sealed lids now tagged and bagged. He didn't know who sent them. He didn't know if more were out there. He only knew the window had closed. "Route clear," he said flatly. "Proceed on time." The stage door opened. Applause thundered like surf. The crowd never knew how close the tide had come. The seized gear told the story. Suppressed rifles with felt-wrapped magazines, encrypted radios, a black notebook with a freight stub taped inside, sweat-stained, misprinted, wrong. The manifest said refrigeration units. The weight didn't match. The consignee's name was misspelled. The insurance line used jargon for precision assemblies, not cold storage. A barcode scrap taped to the cover rhymed with the rifle's serials. Chain of custody began rolling. Gloves stayed on. Every number read aloud and repeated. UV photos captured the marks. One handset, when powered, flashed a network tag before locking itself. Falcon's Feast. Within an hour, a hit surfaced in a customs database. The barcode linked to a container stack routed through Djibouti last month under a humanitarian label. The load was repacked, pushed through a third-party broker, then tucked inside a larger military consignment. A disputed stopover in the logs, one thing on paper, another in weight records. Then came the overseas denial, lightning fast. No link, no knowledge, no involvement. The speed said everything. The officers didn't throw accusations. They tightened the facts. Rifles, radios, cover manifests, a chain that had let killers ride in on humanitarian freight. And one truth, someone with access somewhere, wanted Traoré silenced before he could speak. By nightfall, headlines read, "Heightened security at AU summit." Within minutes, the word no one wanted was added, assassination. Photos showed a taped-off service hall. No shots, no blood, only questions. The agenda stayed on schedule. Calm outside, evidence sealed inside. Critics screamed cover-up. Professionals recognized discipline. No names until records were public. Across the continent, phones lit up. Some leaders urged patience. Others wanted names that night. An emergency group formed to coordinate words. Message: united investigation, no fracture. No reward for those who tried. Diaspora groups hit the streets in Paris and New York, chanting, "Protect our podium." Commentators split: proof or accountability first? The adults said both, but in the right order. Proof first. Accountability next. In Ouagadougou, staff kept one eye on the feed, one on the clock. The president would speak soon, not with fury, but with process. And he'd argue what this night had made crystal clear. Sovereignty and security are the same fight by another name. Late that night, reporters received a leaked package: freight logs, barcode strips, routing notes, Djibouti, humanitarian label, wrong weights, wrong language, a familiar broker, evidence held. Denials looked thin. Analysts drew maps for evening shows: port to broker, broker to consignment, consignment to the summit city. Two parallel timelines appeared: the paper trail versus the press release. They were not equal. Morning brought a working group, neutral observers and cameras on the audit door. No drama, just steps people could see. And when the chair called the closed session, Traore spoke, calm, firm. "We will not trade rumor for revenge. We will trade fear for standards." His proposal was simple: protect leaders, protect evidence, protect the public. An African Security Alliance. 5 pillars: mutual defense with fixed clocks, site lock in 24 hours, forensics in 72, public report in 30 days. Evidence integrity with dual signatures and mirrored vaults. Rapid response commands with shared drills and civilian-first rules. Funding pooled into 3 hubs. Law and transparency. Standard forms, scheduled briefings, 1 spokesperson per incident, and a public rumor control page. He didn't point fingers. He built a lock the world could see. The room moved. Commitments shifted from applause to signatures. Drone feeds, evidence training sites, shared serial libraries. By evening, the charter wasn't a draft. It was ink. Markets took note. Universities launched new programs. Retired officers volunteered. Local manufacturers offered seals and mounts. It wasn't spectacle. It was capacity. When Ibrahim Traoré returned to the podium, he didn't boast. He reminded, "We are not here to trade accusations. We are here to make it expensive to lie and impossible to hide." Calm. Measured. The voice of a builder, not a performer. The attack had tried to shrink a continent into one moment of fear. The response stretched it into a system. Whatever the audit would later prove, the political verdict was clear. Burkina Faso had not flinched, and neither had its partners. Traoré left with a stronger mandate than he arrived with. "We did not ask for permission to be free," he said. "We stood up to win it. If this story speaks to you, share it. Subscribe for truth that matters more than spin. Stand with Africa. Stand with Burkina Faso. Stand with Ibrahim Traoré, because the noise faded, and the work began."